Hey guys, Coach Rich here. Are you also guilty of procrastination? It is indeed known to be one of the most notorious negative habits us humans acquire. So what do we do about it? How do we deal with it? And since everyone seems to struggle with it, can we now consider it normal? Watch this entire video and you'll most probably discover some surprising things about procrastination. Plus, I'll be giving you 3 simple steps on how you can overcome it. Let's go! Welcome to Richmond Language Academy, where we discuss and learn communication, culture, and personal development. Before we dig in on how we can break the habit of procrastinating, first, I'd like to define procrastination, what it is, and what it isn't. While researching and talking to different people about this topic, I realized that most people have misconceptions about this behavior. It's time to debunk these long-standing myths. For starters, the word procrastination is neutral in itself. It's neither negative nor positive. The Oxford Dictionary actually defines it simply as the act of delaying or postponing something. However, procrastination could then be categorized based on a person's intention, follow-through action, and its corresponding results. This is where the positive and negative classifications come in. Procrastination can either be destructive or productive. We can easily identify one from each other. Destructive procrastination is what we do when we carelessly or recklessly avoid the tasks we are supposed to finish, while productive procrastination is when we take helpful or productive pauses as a critical part of our creative process when we work. Let's start with the positive type, productive procrastination. If we are working on a project or a creative idea, especially if the project's goal is one of trying to disrupt something in an industry, research shows that procrastination is not only good, but actually really necessary. You see, our mind's creative process actually takes time. So, when we set a project aside to procrastinate for, let's say, a few days or weeks, it allows our mind to wander, explore, or reset. This certain period of time gives us the ability to come up with a different or even better ideas that can enhance our output. Therefore, productive procrastination is immensely liberating, especially if we're not yet experts on the task we're doing. We need ample time to reflect and bring out our inner brilliance. Our minds also need these breaks to refresh itself and continue functioning well. So, if you're not getting the results you want in whatever you're working on, give it a little bit more time. Pause and go focus your energy towards something else. You can read a book, try out a new recipe, eat, see a friend, watch a movie, or go outside for some fresh air. Then come back after a few minutes or hours and watch it magically gives you a fresh eye and perspective. But, of course, this practice is only applicable for projects with flexible deadlines. The projects that allow you to manage your own time. If you procrastinate your work, and it will greatly affect the work of others like your boss, co-workers, or even affect expectations from customers or clients, you might want to give a delay a second thought. Again, that's productive procrastination. Actively taking healthy and mindful pauses to help your mind's creative process. You procrastinate as a means of choice and for productive reasons. Now, the negative one is what you and I should understand, then eliminate. It is called the destructive procrastination. This negative habit is an entirely different animal, which most of us, I believe, are already familiar with. This is when you're carelessly avoiding things that you need to get done. And as we all know, there can be negative and even irreversible consequences if we don't stop this habit. Slacking off may reward us with a bit of time to have fun, but its real effects can really come back to bite us harshly in the end. Not worth it. Funny thing is, all of us have been somewhat guilty of slacking off at some point in our lives. We might have slacked off on tasks we're expected to do in school or at work, or in doing personal things like updating our resume or portfolio, cleaning our room, or perhaps paying the bills or a debt we owe, or finally submitting a long-awaited business proposal. The list can go on because we can destructively procrastinate on any task. But what we urgently need to realize is that destructive procrastination can start to eat away our energy, our vision, and our enthusiasm, and we end up losing in the end. Here's the truth. We all want to stop procrastinating, but most of us don't even know why we are procrastinating. What could be the real cause of this problem? You may be able to think a few reasons. You may say, Coach Rich, I am just terrible at time management, or I don't have willpower or self-discipline, or being organized is not really our greatest strength. But I tell you, none of these prove to be the real cause of this destructive behavioral pattern. Procrastination is not a form of laziness. Procrastination actually has nothing to do with work. I bet you didn't expect to hear that. Procrastination is actually a coping mechanism for stress. And I'm going to explain to you why. According to the leading expert on procrastination, Dr. Tim Seichel, the main thing that drives procrastination is not our desire to avoid work, but to avoid stress. Procrastination is a subconscious desire to feel good immediately in order to relieve ourselves of the feeling of stress. We don't procrastinate because we hate work. We procrastinate because we hate feeling stressed out. And here's the catch. We are not stressed about work. We are stressed about other bigger things. Among the most notable are money, relationships, or the future. When we blow off work or task by spending, let's say, 15 minutes browsing through Facebook, watching funny videos on YouTube, or making TikTok videos, initially, we're not carelessly avoiding work. This action is actually okay because our intention is to take a mini stress break. This stress break, especially when enjoyable, gives us a boost of dopamine, the feel-good hormone. But since we get used to the good feeling these stress breaks give us, we will most likely to do them again. Here's where the problem lies. While we get a little boost of relief spending time on, let's say, social media, over time, the work that we keep delaying will start to pile up. And guess what it will give you in return? More stress. We failed to avoid stress. We actually added more to it. And if you feel more stressed, what do? Yep, we procrastinate. Therefore, it becomes a vicious cycle, which is more difficult to overcome. Now, let's go to the 3 solutions you've been waiting for. Listen carefully, as you can use these in beating procrastination every single time you start to feel it beating you. These are the 3 S's to stop procrastination. First S, stop. Stop the cycle of procrastination. Take a second to step back and forgive yourself. What do I mean by this? According to years of scientific research at Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada, students who forgave themselves for practicing unproductive procrastination were less likely to procrastinate again than the ones who didn't. Psychologists say that the problem with people who procrastinate is that they beat themselves up for what they did or didn't do. Nursing the feeling of guilt, regret, and frustration actually compounds the problem. Therefore, by starting to forgive yourself, we are able to stop the cycle and handle the problem in a more positive and less stressful manner. We'll be level-headed enough to identify the cause of our stress and have a fighting chance to take control of our work life and focus on what needs to be done. Second S, see the future, meaning picture the person you want to be in the future. Why? The same researchers stated that if we visualize what we want to be in the future, we will gain objectivity to push ourselves to make our desired future a reality. Most of us actually use this method when giving advice to our friends or to younger people. We usually advise, 4 years from now, you won't even care about this moment. When we do this, we remind them of who they are going to be in the future. It is an effective way to give objectivity to the present moment. We can also apply the exact same thing to ourselves. Let's try this. Imagine yourself already financially stable and going into retirement in your 50s. This picture in your mind will encourage you to start saving or investing money now. Though the idea of thinking about the future may seem scary to some, this actually gives us the chance to prepare for it. It encourages us to plan and make the necessary steps towards a dream come true. Visualizing ourselves positively in the future helps us not to dwell in our current problems. So, we can use the future us as an inspiration to get through our current situation. The third S, start. Just get started. That's all we really need to do. Don't worry about finishing, just get started. One of the most powerful ways to create new habits, studies say, is to create our own ritual and to stick to it. One very effective technique I can share with you is called the 5-second rule. It is a psychological tool that activates your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain we use in decision making, personality expression, and moderating behaviors. The 5-second rule is simple. If we have the instinct to act on a goal, we must physically move within 5 seconds or our brain will kill our motivation to do it. Procrastinating is a habit, and like other habits, it is easier to replace it than entirely removing it. This rule helps us to do that, replacing the negative behavior, which is avoiding work, with a positive one, which is immediately getting to work. Simple, right? So here's what you're going to do. The moment you feel that you want to procrastinate, I want you to count backwards from 5 to 1 in your mind, or you can say it out loud if you want to. Then once you count down all the way to number 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you will interrupt the bad habit because your brain will be open for a reset and you can push yourself to start the important thing you need to do right at the very last second. This may sound ridiculously simple, but trust me, this really works. It helps us to beat procrastination because it resets our brain. Using the 5-second rule will put us back in control of our work, therefore putting us back in control of our lives. So this concludes our video on how to beat procrastination. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell and you'll never miss a video upload. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it to anyone. Also, leave your questions, comments, or suggestions below. I'm looking forward to making more informative and motivating videos like this for you. That's it for today. Thank you, and see you next time.